The Absolute Universe is finally here. They've released Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, and Absolute Wonder Woman. And with Absolute Superman, I thought we would check out the story because honestly, it's really interesting, and we'll also do a video on Batman and Wonder Woman probably within these couple of weeks. So we start off this comic book years ago, 9 million light years from Earth to be exact, and it's completely different for Krypton than what we're normally used to. We learned that Krypton is completely built by its cities with just complete advanced tech and ancient law. They have lab-grown gardens and lava-powered energy plants, and in these cities is where the clerics of the Science League live, where they harness the red sun power and just fuel the planet itself, and they were just the Kryptonian ruling class, the most venerated minds on the planet. And well, Kal-El's parents were definitely not these people. And then we get sent to an outskirt farming area where we see two people interacting. One guy just hoping rain is gonna come for his farms, and then someone working on like a truck, kind of like an auto farming plower type of thing. And as they continue this conversation, the person fixing it is actually Laura L., Kal-El's mom. And we learn during this conversation that the brilliant minds of Krypton are pretty messed up to the laborers of Krypton. And this old guy on the farm basically explains how expensive it is to get the rain machines to be paid and sent for, and they just haven't on his farm. And from what we can tell, it's because Laura basically just has a snappy mouth and disrespected some of the brilliant minds on Krypton. And we learned that Jor-El is actually down in the mines currently. And that's when the machines finally fly in and start causing rain on the farmlands, and Laura-El just kind of stands there soaking it all in. And this is where we learn that Laura is actually extremely brilliant, destined for absolute great things. But she ended up writing an essay kind of criticizing Krypton's lack of funding for interstellar exploration, and they did not take too kindly to that, and it really was just her at 9 years old wanting to be an astronaut, so now she's a laborer because of that. And we talked about the ruling class of scientists and laborers a little bit, but now we finally get some information on exactly how that works, that they have a very strict class system. And in this class system, the way it worked was you had to wear the symbol of your class on at all times to just kind of differentiate every person. So at the top of the class was these intelligent scientists, and they had the red sun class mark on their chest. Whereas for the laborers, they're at the complete bottom of the class system ladder, and the symbol for them is the symbol of hope we all know and love. But according to Kal-El, his parents at least wore this symbol with absolute pride. That the laborers were the children of the sun, those who made their way with their own two hands. We were the people of steel. But then we travel to the mines to see where Jor-El is, and he's investigating some weird damages that's going on, trying to get everyone to evacuate. But he can't exactly figure out what it is, but he knows Krypton is trying to tell him something. And this is when another Kryptonian worker that's higher than the laborer class comes in yelling at them saying, hey, you guys should just be mining rocks. Get out of here. You're thinking too much. You're not smart enough for this. And Jor just basically says, no, that's not happening. Everybody get out. I'm going to put some probes down here and I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to find out what's going on. Get out of here. And the other Kryptonian just keeps getting mad at him saying, you need to leave too. But that's when we hear a giant rumble. And as everything around them starts to shake, Jor-El says, you guys need to run now. And everything around them starts cracking and breaking. And during this hectic moment of all of them running away, this is where Kal-El decides to tell us his dad's backstory in monologue boxes. And we learned that his dad was also in the graduate science and extremely brilliant. But at his graduation ceremony, he gave a speech condemning what he saw at the Science League's environmental recklessness, and well, they threw him in the laborer class. And the speech he gave was actually about them pillaging Krypton's natural resources and completely endangering the people on the planet, and they need to stop. And they just laughed at him at his graduation and let him be and threw him into labor class. But Jor-El was not wrong. Krypton was completely rotting within, and we see all this green sludge coming out of the ground, literally melting some of the Kryptonians around Jor-El as he's trying to escape. But it was too late. The towering cities, the Redlands, the crystal forests, the scientists, the laborers, the elves, all of it. All of Krypton was doomed at this point. Well, almost all of it. We find ourselves now on Earth in Brazil. And this is where we learn the people in Brazil are being forced to mine diamonds. And the crazy thing is, the company that's actually making them do this is Lazarus Corp. crazy. But they're being forced to dig deeper and deeper to keep finding diamonds, even though they actually found asbestos, and, well, Lazarus Corp just does not care. They're barely getting paid anything, so they get sent back into the mines every day. But this time was different. Once they went in, they saw that all the diamonds have already been mined and taken care of. Completely mined and crushed by a mysterious person, they have no idea. The diamonds were completely mined and completely crushed and taken care of. Literally no work had to be done. And we start to follow this kind of main guy here in Brazil. His name is Joai or Joa. I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his name incorrectly. But he basically tells the workers around him, hey, let's take this as a miracle. We're just going to grab it, walk out and say, hey, our work for today is done. We just need to take this saving grace and claim our pay. And this is when we start getting a little bit more information about someone known as the Omega Man might be real that might have helped them. The Peacemakers, which are the security force for Lazarus Corp, are also kind of mentioning if there's some mysterious person behind all this. And then we back travel to the previous night, where we see Joa talking to a hooded individual. And Joa starts asking him a bunch of questions like, what languages do you speak? Where are you from? Are you alone? But he says, I'm sorry, I just didn't want to pry. We all have our secrets, I guess. But Joa asks him, hey, maybe you just stay the night. Enjoy the feast with us. The blizzard is going to be ridiculous tomorrow, but we're going to fight it through those mines. And this is where the hooded individual says, oh, I've seen the wonders of your world. And I've seen places a lot like it, that industries just run completely on suffering. And he asks him, how do you know which is the truth? And Joel he asks him, how do you know which is the truth? And Joel replies, says, well, you have what is worth fighting for. That is the truth. And the hooded individual leaves saying, well, I have work to do. And now in the present, we see the Peacemakers are pretty frustrated and trying to figure out what's going on in these mines. And they find out that they got a head count for every worker. Everyone showed up except for one. And we see a bunch of red glowing wires connected to Kal-El sleeping and a robot saying, warning, Peacemaker approaching, conflict imminent, instigating wake-up procedures. And then the Peacemakers arrive screaming for Kal-El to get out. And Kal-El comes out in full force. He's been frustrated watching years and years of these people dominating the weak and him just running away. But he's tired of running as they light him up with bullets and it's bouncing off. And Kal-El starts fighting all of them, taking them all out pretty easily, and we learn that his suit seems to have some type of AI integration that's talking with him, warning him that he needs to leave. He hasn't got enough rest, and he is definitely going to end up being too weak to fight them all, for too long at least. But Kal-El's frustrated that the workers are in danger and it's all his fault. So what he does is start speed blitzing by carrying them all into safety. And Joa says, my God, the boy who spoke in whispers. And Kal-El tells him, hey, get all those diamonds. Lazarus Corp won't pay you well, but find someone who will and get out of here. And this is where he's struck with lightning. And then there's a report that the Peacemakers need to be called off, that the Phenomena field team is inbound. And they're talking about what they see, and we learn that Kal-El has definitely been helping out around the world in places like this. And from what they can tell, that he's talking to his armor, and it's also a living armor that's constantly protecting him. And then we also learn that Superman hasn't been able to really control his eyes very well. And he ended up accidentally charging up his eye beams and completely letting loose, taking out a lot of people. And we learn from the robot Soul that is talking to Kal-El that their mission is to protect him, the last of the L's. And it urges Kal-El to hide in the shadows and not protect people around them, just hide and live. This world can't be saved, not from themselves. And right when Kal-El starts to agree, saying, maybe you're right, maybe we should just leave, a handcuff gets put on his arm, and we turn to see that it's Agent Lois Lane that has captured him, and she points a gun at his face saying, move and I will fry your face, Superman. And that's it for Absolute Superman. This comic was a really good first issue, and I'm so excited to see more. I know we're always kind of talking about how gritty and dark DC can be, like it's nothing new, but I still like this twist. It's good. It was interesting to see what they did with Krypton and Lois Lane being an agent in this and stuff. Like, this is cool. I like it. I'm excited for more. Let me know what you guys think down below if you're excited for this universe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.